and then we'll get into the presentation. So first of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. We're going to be covering a lot of topics today, so please make sure that you use the chat and Q&A functions. My name's Chris Lloyd. I'm an admissions associate here at Tulane University School of Professional Advancement. So whether you're still evaluating or applying, or you've already started that process and are looking to be admitted, I'm going to be your first point of contact. So I will help direct you towards your academic advisors. I can also be the person who can help you with any questions you have about that application process. So there's no question too big or too small. I'm joined today by Professor Ralph Russo, who's the director of our information technology program. Professor Russo, could you give a little bit of background for the people who may not have seen one of our sessions before or may not be familiar with you?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. As Chris mentioned, I'm Ralph Russo. I'm the director of the program, and my background is one of service and of information technology. I started off as doing some application development, database work, graduated into leadership positions in industry, and came into academia later on in life to give back. So I'm managing the program right now, and I'll be here to answer questions for you. Chris?
Thank you so much, Professor Russo. Dive in a little bit and talk about the history of Tulane SOPA. You've got to look back about 180 years or so. So Tulane initially was founded in 1834 as the Medical College of Louisiana, and then in 1886 was the first genesis of what became Tulane SOPA. So that was when we first started offering continuing education courses. It was really a way for us to do outreach to people in our community and be able to share some of the really incredible faculty that we have and some of the degree programs we have with the larger city of New Orleans and Southern Louisiana. So if you're looking at that 1886 start date as the birth of SOPA, we've got over 130 years of a commitment to adult learners. I like to say that this would put us as one of the oldest institutions focused on adult learners in the Southeast if we were an independent college. So you know there's a strong background in history there. When we relaunched in 2017 as Tulane School of Professional Advancement, one of the big pushes was to change our delivery models so that you have multiple ways to engage with your coursework. So that means you can do online, on campus, or a blended approach. It's going to depend on the degree level you're looking at for whether or not you can do it fully online or not. So you'll want to check for your specific circumstance. But generally with our master's degrees, they can be completed entirely online. And the bachelor's, you can complete the vast majority of it online. So whether you're a tactile in-person learner and you want that in-class experience, or you're someone where you have obligations and maybe prefer that online delivery format, there's going to be an option that fits for you. So if you are a working adult and you're wondering, how can I take daytime classes or how can I make this work with my schedule? We have night and weekend classes available. The night classes are typically starting at 6 p.m. and then your weekend classes would be early on Saturday. So it's still entirely possible to be able to balance those obligations you have with your schoolwork. And with that online format, you've also got the asynchronous and synchronous delivery models. With that asynchronous delivery, you're able to watch it on your own time as long as you're meeting those deadlines that are set by the coursework. And then with that synchronous, you actually get that classroom experience. So you're logged in, you have interaction with professors and peers, and it can really mimic that in-person classroom experience.
Hey, Chris.
Go ahead and turn things over to Professor Russo since he's our content expert.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. So a little bit about the information technology program of study. Of course, we recognize that you can get information technology degrees at a lot of places. So I'd like to concentrate on some of the areas in which we differentiate and give you some deeper information. So for instance, we offer IT and cybersecurity courses that incorporate industry relevant knowledge. I think that's pretty clear, but I'd like to talk a second about our faculty. So you'll be taught by industry executives who are currently industry executives, who not only have the academic degrees required to teach, but also have industry experience. So the subjects they're teaching are not only things they understand conceptually, they're things they understand viscerally from doing these things on a day in and day out. We feel like that's a differentiator, at least I do. And I've made sure to include folks that could give you the inside baseball, not just an application development concept, but how it works in the real world. Not just the cybersecurity concept, but specifically how to design and develop a security posture, not simply a cloud and virtualization overview academically, but how that stuff works in, quote unquote, the real world. So we feel like you're getting better, which brings me to the philosophy in with these courses. That we built them so that they're top level academic, worthy of the Tulane name, but at the same time significantly applied. So courses are meant to be academic and applied. I'm not so sure you'll find that, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So from the academic perspective, our bachelor's programs and our master's degrees were very much built using the models and the recommended structure from both ACM, which is the Association of Computing Machinery, and ABET, which is a top accreditation group. They accredit all the major universities in science and engineering. So we're very solidly academic. We have to be. At the same time, though, I've gone after an applied approach. So, for example, what does that mean, an applied approach? That means your courses have 200 plus labs where you'll go hands-on embedded in them, so that you don't just know what a firewall is and does, you'll know how to set up a firewall, and you'll try to breach a firewall. If you're in a cybersecurity class, for example. We also have partnerships with major groups. One is CompTIA. If you've heard of Security Plus or Network Plus or Server Plus or Project Plus or any of those certifications, they come from a group called CompTIA. Well, we're partners with CompTIA, and we offer courses that allow you to not only learn the academic part of, for example, servers and network administration, but we'll offer a course that results in you getting a voucher to pursue that particular certification. So you'll take a course in servers and networks, and then you'll get a voucher at the end of the course to go right out and take your Server Plus certification with CompTIA. And we structure the learning so that you get the knowledge needed to pass the certification as part of the class. So we think that's kind of a different differentiator, where you actually leave with a professional certification while you're getting your academic degree. So that's some examples of ways in which our program of study differentiates. Chris mentioned online courses, and I want to talk a little bit more about those. What's different about our online courses from anyone else's? Why do we think ours are great? And I'd like to talk about that in a minute. And we have specific area through concentration, stackable search. So Chris, if you go to the next slide, I'd like to talk about some of the options. Yeah, so one program, many options. We have two master's programs, which are master's degrees in information technology management and cybersecurity management. We also have a bachelor's degree, which is a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. Part of the bachelor's degree is that we have 5 different concentrations. So you get your degree in information technology with a concentration in one of these 5 areas. And your degree will say, for example, information technology, product and program support, or information technology, cybersecurity. And you can see those concentrations on the screen: app dev, product and program support, which encompasses project management, Scrum, business analysis, system design, the kind of wrapping that goes around the specific technical thing. So we have that concentration: system and network admin, cloud and virtualization, and cybersecurity. Those are our bachelor's concentrations. At the graduate level, while you're going for your master's in IT management or your master's in cybersecurity management, if you're going for your cybersecurity management, we offer a certificate in cyber defense and a certificate in leadership. These are stackable, and I'll tell you what that is in a minute. If you're going for your IT management master's, you can get an IT strategic planning certificate or a technology architecture certificate. And when I say those are stackable, that means the courses that make up each one of those certificates are applicable to the master's degree. So if you join us and take a certain group of courses, for example, in the IT management program, if you take the technology architecture courses, you get the certificate, and those credits also count towards your master's. So when you leave us, you not only leave with a master's degree, you leave with a specific targeted certificate. What's not on this slide is that we also have concentrations in our master's degrees. So, for example, if you go for your master's in IT management, you can concentrate in cybersecurity as part of your IT management, or homeland security, or emergency management. So you can take IT with a emergency management bent, or a homeland security bent. And cybersecurity management, same thing. You could take homeland security courses that are related to cybersecurity and get that concentration if you want. Or you could just go straight up for the master's degree. That's entirely up to you. All of that is stackable, and all of those count toward your master's degree. We also offer post-baccalaureate certificates. If you Chris is going to talk about our requirements in a little bit on what it takes to get into the program. I'd like to ask you to keep something in mind while he does that, which is that we offer post-baccalaureate certificates to bridge you into the master's program, and we're currently building a graduate certification program that will bridge you into the master's degree. And what do I mean by bridge you in? That means if you don't have an undergraduate degree in STEM or IT or computer science or any of those, if you don't have technology as part of your undergraduate degree, or you haven't been doing it in industry, because we do take that as a substitute for the undergraduate work. If you don't have those, but you still want to pivot to a master's degree, we can get you there through one of these bridge programs. And we could talk more a little about that if you want. The SOPA difference is you see some stuff about flipped classroom model and access. We talked about labs and talked about professors who are IT practitioners. We also maintain a great array of student support services to help you, which could include a success coach, which comes in and helps you understand the work if you need that, or we have academic advisors, which you help you plan. I can help you structure a roadmap to get where you want to go. But then we've got some other stuff which above and beyond that, and which I'd like to talk to for a minute. So the first thing is we've got a cyber competition team, which is a voluntary team consisting of both undergraduate students and graduate students, which go out and compete in cybersecurity exercises against other universities. And we have an undergraduate course and a graduate course, which prepares you to be on the team, and it will count as an elective towards your undergraduate or graduate degree. You see the Women in Technology Mentorship Program. If you're a female and you're coming into, say, for instance, you're coming in for your bachelor's degree at Tulane, we can get you a woman who's already made it in industry, who's volunteered to mentor you. So we have support services, and we have academic advisement, we have major academic advisement, we have all kinds of help. But this program will help you with adjusting to the culture of technology if you want to be involved in it. It's voluntary, and we just recently connected students with mentors who are CEOs, CIOs. One is the ex-CIO of the Department of Defense, and she's agreed to mentor our students one-to-one. It's not an intensive thing, but we found, what I'm hearing is it's very effective. I don't know how many other universities do this for their female students, but we do, and we find that it's very helpful. Additionally, something else we do, which I don't know where you'll find this, is we built a fake company called South Balance. If you go to southbalance.com, you'll see a company there, but you'll also see the Tulane logo up there. We built a fake company. This company has leadership, an org chart, it has a mission statement, it has products, it has an actual existing infrastructure with a mail server and firewalls and so on and so forth. And we use this fake company to build out assignments for students. So you'll be told that South Balance is going to increase operations and go into Europe, which will require you to pull your knowledge of governance and cyber law and policy. Or we'll tell you that South Balance is rolling out a new product line and needs to update their infrastructure, and you'll go out into the infrastructure and solve some of these problems as class assignments. So we're very much realistic, hands-on, using academic concepts, though, as the best practice to do it, understanding of those. We do specialty things. For example, I'm offering my students the ability to get a Department of Homeland Security certification if they want. DHS is coming down to campus in early 2020 and offering an intensive 4-day, full-day certification course, which is free to my students. And my students will be in class with National Guards people and Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency actual workers in getting the certification alongside my students. So we do these. We brought Entergy in, and we did an exercise on robotic process automation, where my students competed to win drones that were donated by Entergy in building automated processes. And since then, a couple of students who competed now work for Entergy. So we do these kind of specialty connections, and all of that's from the fact that I maintain the information technology programs department. That's my department. We maintain a very tight connection to industry. My industry advisory board, which is on our website, and hey, Chris, can you jump out there and maybe post some links into the chat box for the information technology program page? That main page has links to the faculty. You can see all of our faculty and look at their bios. It has links to the Women in Technology Mentorship Program. It also has links to our industry advisory board. That board, every time I want to add a course or make a change or restructure the degree or bring on technology or sunset technology, I go to my industry advisory board that's made up from people from Microsoft and Google and DXC Tech and other major businesses, law firms that work in cybersecurity. I go to this board and I solicit their opinion on it, so that everything we do in our programs translates well to industry. And so that's something else we do. I'm not sure what other universities do in that regard, but these are just some of the things that differentiate ourselves. It's Tulane University. It's a brand that means something, and we work very hard to make sure our students get the absolute best as they're getting their Tulane University degree. And with that, I'll give Chris a second to post those links. But we're gonna, at the end of this, at the end of the webinar, I'll be taking questions, and so will Chris, so that you guys can ask questions. The last slide is going to talk about career options, and Chris will switch over to that in a second. But here it is. It's a basic list of potential jobs. But I want to caution you on this in a couple of ways. It's easy for me to put up a slide with a lot of jobs that you could get, but here's the thing. First of all, this is a very narrow list. There are literally 100 more roles out there in industry and government that you can get as a result of the career you start here at Tulane University. Literally hundreds, if not hundreds, of positions. Some of these are high-level positions, like a CISO for the cybersecurity degree, Chief Information Security Officer, or a CIO with the IT management degree. This does not mean that you walk out of the university with your degree under your arm and they name you the CIO of a Fortune 500 company. That's not realistic. But what this does mean is that when we structure these programs, we build them to prepare you for these jobs. And of course, the jobs will require what I call the three legs of the stool. So I get asked by students, what's our approach to building courses? So you know what's baked into these courses. And the approach is we want all of our courses and certainly our degrees to be technical, to expose you to the technology that's modern, that exists in industry right now. Secondly, these degrees teach you governance and process so that you can develop into a leader, whether it's a team lead on an application development team or it's a CIO. Any type of leadership as you move along requires you to understand process and governance. And the third thing we bake into our degrees is business acumen. Because information technology is not a thing in and of itself. Wherever you go, you will look to bring your skills to solve business problems, to further business goals. So we're going to teach you how to communicate technical concepts and technical projects and technical needs to the C-suite. And we start with that right in the undergraduate program, where you'll have to learn to not only learn the technology, learn the governance and process wrappers around the technology, but also how do you articulate this stuff to people who are CIOs, COOs, CTOs, CFOs. We teach you that from the beginning. And the last thing I wanted to talk about before I turn it back over to Chris was our online courses. We at the undergraduate level, our degree has both online courses and on-ground courses, and our students can choose which ones they want. And at the master's level, we're fully 100% online. Both of those degrees are fully online at the master's level. So how do we build online courses? Let's take a second to talk about that, because an online course could be somebody posts a bunch of PDFs and then gives you a test and then gives you course credit. That's not the way we do it here at Tulane. To build an online course, I bring in a subject matter expert from industry. I pay them. I pair them up with an instructional designer and a graphics and media person. The instructional designer brings best practice on how people learn online, and also what are the ways to engage students. So we put these three people together for a semester, and they build your course out that way. So your course will have combinations of labs, online quizzes, reading materials, videos from industry experts that are embedded in the course. It will have, peer-reviewed articles. It will have some web stuff. It will have your instructor film in a short overview of a topic. We try to keep all our videos to 8 minutes or less, because our research shows that that's the best engagement for studios. So for students, listen, we built these to be so that they engage you. It's learning. It's not easy. It's information technology, but we built it to the best of our ability to engage you in these courses. So when you hear online course, that doesn't mean the same thing to everybody. Here at Tulane University, that means a great deal of effort to build courses that engage you. So with that, I'm going to switch back to Chris.
Thank you for that awesome overview, Professor Russo. I want to pivot and start talking about some of the structures we have built here at Tulane SOPA that are outside of the information technology program. So some of this is influenced by the philosophies we have here at SOPA, which is we want to provide as much student support as we can to ensure that you're going to be a successful student. Part of that is your academic advising. So our academic advisors here have a really high degree of availability. From my experience, I haven't had that sort of one-on-one interaction with an academic advisor when I was going to a large state school, but our academic advisors here are multimodal. You can get in contact with them via email, via phone, via the Zoom teleconferencing platform that we're on, as well as through in-person meetings at our Uptown and Elmwood locations. So what that means is even if you're a distance learner or if you're in person, you have a way that you can get in contact and actually have that one-on-one interaction with your advisor. And you also have the ability to schedule the appointments with them yourself. So the advisors will put up a calendar with their availability, and you're able to go in there and actually select and reserve those spots. So what that means is you're not going to be limited to where you're having to meet them at times that don't work for you. Our advisors keep pretty open schedules and really are there to help support you. So it's really a unique asset that we have here. And when you pair that with our faculty and then our career advising, I think you really get a lot of value out of that. So Professor Russo was talking about our faculty composition and how they're drawn from people who are actively working in the industry and with high degree of experience. So people working at executive levels or working at these directorial roles where they're actually able to pass along their experience. They're able to actively mentor these students by virtue of that they've been working in that industry at a high level. So you've got that academic advising and then that career advising, and then you also have that large network of Tulane alumni. So that network of Tulane alumni, Professor Russo alluded to earlier, is in part drawn from that faculty, drawn from your peers, drawn from the people who are working on our advisory boards. And so you're really getting an opportunity to let that Tulane degree be a way to open doors. Tulane is a well-known, prestigious institution nationally and worldwide, but in South Louisiana and in the Southeast, the name carries a lot of weight because people are familiar with the quality of work that we have and the quality of our students. So when you're going out into the field, you're leaving with a degree that says Tulane University. There's no colons, there's no commas, there's nothing that signifies that it's from School of Professional Advancement or any of the other sub-schools within Tulane. So that really gives a lot of power to that degree when you can go out into the field and show people that you've got training from people who are working at a high level. To kind of double back on that career advising piece, I want to mention that we do have our own career advising here within Tulane SOPA. So you're not competing against all of the other students that are at Tulane University. You've got someone that's specific to you, knows our programs well, and is also actively building and working through those networks. Miss Cynthia Washington heads our career services here at Tulane SOPA. And one of the things that she does is she does active mentorship with our students. So whether that's hosting LinkedIn learning sessions, whether it's interview practice or actually helping you to connect with internships or with employers, you're getting support at every step along the way. So from day one as a student at SOPA, you have access to her services and her advising. And as long as you are, making use of those resources, you've got a really great opportunity to really be able to show yourself, learn how to sell your work, and go out there with the best possible presentation of the skills and experience that you have. I'm going to go into greater depth about it in a moment, but credits for prior learning is an alternative credit certification that we have to where students who maybe have extensive experience in the field are able to get credits recognized for that. So that's a great way to leverage that experience you have, reduce your out-of-pocket cost, and get through your degree program quicker. Now, for the actual application process, you're going to complete it entirely online. sopa.tulane.edu is where you'll go, and there's going to be a green apply button there at the top. What you'll do is you'll create an account in there. So all you'll need is a copy of your photo ID. It needs to be unexpired and government issued. So that's preferably going to be a passport, state ID, driver's license. And then you'll also need an email account. The email account is how you're actually going to be able to log in and get access to the application. Typically, there would be an application fee of $40 for undergraduate or $50 for graduates. But because you joined us today, gave a little bit of your day to us, we want to make sure that we waive that application fee. The way that you actually get that application fee waiver is if you register for the application with the same email account that you used to register for this webinar, it will automatically detect and apply that. If for some reason it is not, I'm going to share my contact information at the end. And that way you'll be able to take advantage of that application fee waiver and really start that educational journey at no cost to yourself. We are going to require transcripts from any of the schools that you've attended. So what that means is If you are someone where you're going into the bachelor's program, we're going to need that high school diploma, that proof of graduation. If you're going into our graduate program, then that's where we're going to need all of those transcripts from all of the undergraduate institutions that you've attended. So we need to see all of those individual course level credits. Additionally, when talking about the requirements for the graduate program, I think we need to talk about like what are the actual admissions requirements. So there's a couple of different scenarios for you. One would be that you're coming out of a bachelor's program where you're coming from a STEM field, where you have an IT background. And that's where we would be looking primarily at what your grades were in those courses. And we're looking for a GPA of 3.0 or higher that can be offset by some professional experience. And then if you're coming out of a bachelor's program where maybe you were not a STEM major, but you have significant coursework in that field, then that's where that professional experience and that coursework you've taken act as a substitute for having that STEM or IT degree. We're still ideally looking for that 3.0 or higher GPA, but for those of you with intense military experience, extensive professional experience, don't let that GPA guideline be something that dissuades you. We have students who come in who have extensive experience, but may not be at that ideal 3.0. So we're going to be doing a holistic review where we're looking at all of these different circumstances that contributed to your GPA and that also contributed to your knowledge. So the other things you're going to need are you're going to answer application questions within there. These are going to be a couple of short paragraph answer options. You're really going to want to make sure that you're giving us all of those details in response to the questions, because the more information that you give us, the better we have at understanding where you're at. Those application questions really give us context about who you are and your educational journey. The last piece is going to be that resume or CV. That resume or CV really gives us that access to what your professional background is, and is a great opportunity for you to display any of that additional experience that you have. So whether it's through community service organizations, military training, any of that sort of work streams that you've done, that's where that resume and CV can be really powerful because it can help to be that additional context. For the spring semester, you still do have time to join our cohort. So January 1st is going to be the deadline for a complete application. That means we need to have all of your unofficial transcripts and all of the other required application materials to issue a decision. We do prefer that it is your final official transcript, so that way we can admit you with no holds. If you are using those unofficial transcripts, it can result in a transcript hold until we get that final official transcript. So the unofficial transcripts are useful for determining, say, will I get admission, but they're not going to be able to unlock registration for you. If you're finishing out a semester now, or maybe you still have a spring semester, then that's where you're looking at summer or fall. With summer, you have a May 15th deadline, and with fall, you have an August 15th deadline. So you've still got quite a bit of time for summer or fall, but spring is rapidly approaching. Tulane SOPA offers financial aid assistance in the same way that the rest of Tulane and other universities within the United States do, which is you fill out a FAFSA and you get access to federal grants and loans. And then we also have a few things that are specific to SOPA, where we have discounts for active duty military, for our veterans, for teachers, for first responders. So there's a lot of opportunities to bring down that cost of attendance. And then if you are a veteran and you're actually retired and officially separated out from your unit, you may qualify for the Yellow Ribbon Scholarship, which you can pair with your GI Bill or educational benefits. And you're looking at basically zero out-of-pocket cost if you actually receive that scholarship. So you can get a prestigious degree from a world-renowned university for basically no out-of-pocket cost as recognition for your military service. And that's a really incredible deal. And then for those of you who are going to be paying either with financial aid, federal grants, federal loans, or out of pocket, you're going to be looking at 474 a credit hour for spring 2020 and summer 2020. And then at the graduate level, you're looking at 1,039 per credit hour. So in terms of universities with similar prestige, this is a very, very good value. And it's also something to where if you have those discounts, that number can go down. To loop back to what I was talking about earlier with the credits for prior learning, This is a really, really great way to get that previous experience you have recognized and turned into credits. Basically, what you're doing is you're taking all of your existing work experience, community service, military training, and you're writing about that and creating a portfolio that allows you to explain and add context to show why that experience is going to be equivalent to these credits you can earn. At the undergraduate level, that's up to 24 credits, which is a fifth of your bachelor's degree. The cost savings there are going to be really huge for you. And I think that's where you're going to see that biggest value. You're going to be getting out earlier and you're going to be spending less. At the graduate level, you're going to be limited to 6 credits. And with those, they really do need to be this higher level sort of service work experience training. The graduate level, it's going to be a lot harder to get those credits recognized than at the undergraduate level. So if you're at the undergraduate level and you're looking to use that military training, that those examinations that you've passed, that's where you'll want to start that conversation with Dalila Omerbasic, who's the director of our prior learning program. And she'll be able to tell you how those assessments work and help to prepare you for that so that you can actually get those recognized. So we've run through a lot of content today so far, and I want to make sure that we're leaving open this Q&A session for just a moment so that people can submit questions that have come up. Professor Russo has gone ahead and shared some of those links in the chat for everyone, specifically that Women in Technology, the partnerships, industry board members, and mentorship programs. And I really can't recommend enough for you guys to check these out. I think what Professor Russo has built here is something that really helps to connect you into the industry at large, and especially this industry locally. And it's a really great resource. Professor Russo, is there anything that you want to share with our viewers while we're waiting on questions?
No, just simply that, I think that probably doesn't need saying, because I think students are becoming better shoppers for education as time goes by. So a lot of students do their homework and see what type of programs and universities fit them well. We've taken some time to try to give you some differentiators, and I think Chris is right when he says take a look at that website, do your homework, and see what it is that matches well with what you want to do. We think we've got a compelling offering here, so please, if you have any questions, let us know. I see somebody. I think somebody's got a question already. Sandrine from France, an associate's degree in IT network administration, currently project manager. Can you apply? Yes, you can. Would you like to apply? I'm assuming you mean you want to apply for an undergraduate degree, Sandrine, or you want to apply for the master's? Of course, to get in a master's program, you need a bachelor's. But if you have a bachelor's in something else and an associate degree in IT network, I certainly think you would be a good candidate for our master's program.
And Sandrine, one thing that I think is really important that we focus in on is that if you are currently residing in France, then we do not offer student visas for international students. So you would have to be able to get accepted and enroll in the program through your own visa status. We would not be able to act as a sponsor. And then the other piece is that any credits that were earned in France, if you're trying to either transfer them or use them as part of a degree program, they need to be submitted for evaluation through World Educational Services. That's the only evaluation service that we accept. So you can usually find them online by searching WES in all capital letters, and that's how you can start that service. What they're going to do is they're going to evaluate the credits that you've earned, and they're going to be able to tell us whether or not those are equivalent with courses that are offered in the United States. So that's going to be a really important piece. And with the certificates, it is a post-baccalaureate certificate. So you would still need to have graduated from there, from a bachelor's program. So depending on where you are in your academic career, there's going to be different levels that would be applicable for you, but you still have to go through that evaluation.
And listen, we just threw a lot of information at you, Sandrine. Bottom line is, if you want to finish up your bachelor's and concentrate on cybersecurity, there are ways to do that. And we just need to do the work to do that. So Chris is going to give you some contact information of mine and his at the end of the meeting. uh, you can see Chris is an expert on getting, international. Listen, I have international students in my master's program from around the world, so it's not something we're new to. So I encourage you to get in touch with Chris for some of these administrative guidelines, or with me if you have questions about the programs. But certainly, if you want to learn about cybersecurity, we've got programs for you. So I encourage you to follow on after this meeting, and we'll get right to the nitty gritty on what it takes to get you into Tulane University.
And we got a couple other questions that have popped up. Lennon was asking about the TOEFL score. We don't have TOEFL score requirements, and we also don't have GRE or ACT or SAT requirements. What we're looking at in terms of the graduate programs is that holistic overview of whether or not you have that experience in the field, that background through your education, so bachelor's, and then also that additional context you provide us about military experience and other professional experience. We're not looking just at that score or just at the GPA. We're looking at a couple of different things in concert. And then Nathaniel was asking about what's considered full-time for a master's degree program as far as course load. So graduate level, I believe 9 credits is going to be a full-time student.
Right. So that is the answer. But let's just say this, Nathaniel, that I recommend, it all depends on personal situation. I've had some students take 4 courses per semester and finish up really quickly. I have one that she just left her job to concentrate on this. That's what she wanted to do. So we've had generally speaking, if you're working full time, 2 or 3 courses a semester. Also, if you're getting aid or you're supported by an organization, you have to comply with their rules on what they consider full-time. But generally speaking, it's 3 courses or 9 credits. But again, we can work with you to discover, what limit. I can tell you my experience on what students can handle or shouldn't try to handle. So that's a follow-up conversation we're willing to have. But again, we'll work with you. This is stuff we do every day.
Yeah, if you are a working adult, you really don't want to look at going beyond 3 courses, because you are going to have homework requirements and projects. And when you get to those midterms and finals, everything is going to be hitting at once, and you really want to be careful not to overload yourself. It's going to be important that you're setting up achievable goals. I know the pacing is going to be really important to people and they want to get through it as soon as possible, but don't overload yourself and risk losing that connection with the content. If you don't have time to engage with it, then taking 4 or 5 courses isn't going to have that same value. So we've covered pretty much every question that's been asked so far. As a final piece of advice, I really recommend start that conversation with us now. We'll be able to talk with you one-on-one about what your circumstance is and how it fits in here at Tulane SOPA, but we can also help to guide you through this application process and help you understand what we've built here. Professor Russo is an amazing resource, and I recommend taking advantage of that. It's not every day that a program director is offering to give you access to them. So he's able to answer all of those high-level questions that are going to be just beyond my admissions perspective. So definitely follow up with us. I shared my email address in the chat, but in case we have any call-in listeners, I want to make sure I say it out loud. It's clloyd3@tulane.edu. And then my phone number that you can reach me at is 504-865-5333. And if you want to contact our admissions director to set up an appointment with us or to be able to arrange a campus tour, you can reach Sheila Gold at sgold@tulane.edu. She's someone where she is over our admissions department, so she's able to answer all of those high-level questions, but there's no question too big or too small for either Professor Russo or for I, so make sure you're taking advantage of that. I just want to thank Professor Russo again for his time today, and thank you guys for taking advantage of this and really giving us some great questions here. Take that application fee waiver and use it as soon as possible, whether you're looking at spring, fall, or summer. It's not too early to start for any of those periods. And if there's anything that comes up after this session, we're going to be distributing this video to you. It's going to be uploaded to YouTube and then emailed to you. So you'll have all of our contact information as well as ways to replay this video. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.